always use a new pocket square. Thanks for joining me on this week's episode of InTRUview as we find ourselves in Brighton, Michigan, which is just outside of Detroit, which most of us know it as Detroit. Fun fact alert. Did you know that Detroit was founded back in 1701 by a French explorer named Antoine Cadillac? That's right. The very luxury brand that we all know and many of us have driven was named after that very explorer. I know, I'm just full of fun facts. That's a whole new episode. On this episode, we're going to put our focus towards Ward Dental Lab, which has been around for over 30 years, started by Scott Ward. Now we're going to find out a little bit more about his history, how he got acquired, and how he's grown this company to over 50 employees. I'm Jeff Kraft. InTRUview starts right now. So Scott, Karen, I appreciate you guys sitting down with me here today. This is a fun story. This is really a fun story because this is passion project for you. 30 years ago, you started this lab. Let's go back really quick to then. Why a lab?
My local dentist kind of told me about it. So I enrolled into a lab program in Northern Michigan, Ferris State University. That lab program's no longer there like most of them. Mm-hmm. So I was on a committee to keep it going for a while. So I went to lab school and I happened to get a summer work study at the University Dental School here in town. And it turned into a real paying job. And that's kind of how I started. And then after that, I started my lab down my basement, if you can believe it. Mine was kind of between the wash and the dryer.
Yeah, that's where the best business is done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where all the coins and all the other stuff fall in between that?
Oh, yeah.
So you grew up in the industry. You saw your dad already in this industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And he told me never do this.
Yeah, look at you now. That's kind of what we always, you always end up like the parents. Karen, I want to talk about the relationship with you and Scott. How did you come into play? How did you guys get together and team up? Because you run everything here day to day.
Well, I was a technician at the bench.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we had another lab that was within our network, about an hour from here, and the manager that worked there was leaving, and then Scott asked me if I wanted to go manage that lab. So I did that for about 2 years, and then like it is now, people already at that time, it was getting harder and harder to find technicians, and our people were retiring there, and Scott wanted to step back even more here and brought me back over and then started managing here.
So when you over the years, as you continue to get, involved more and more in the industry, have things changed over the years?
Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Like I say, I started in my basement, and you really can't have employees in your basement.
Yeah.
So I bought a building and started getting employees and just built the lab up. I did sell my lab a few years ago to a company in Canada, DTI, which is now Microlab.
Got it, yeah.
And trying to keep that and stayed on as a manager. But when I did that, things just took off. Nothing really changed for so long. But now, digitally, every day it's changing. It's hard to even keep up with it.
True abutment, how did that come about?
Funny thing is, with the locator implant abutments, they don't always work because they're divergent sometimes. They're not always straight. So then we learned about the tie lock. The true abutment lines them all up computerly, and it's like magic. So that was our first thing, and then it took off from there.
And how did you communicate that with Micro? Did they have another abutment company? They had said, well, here's who we use.
No,
they
we
just
can
said,
use
whoever
you
we
can
want.
use whoever you want.
Yeah.
There's a little balance in it that we are always fighting with dentists or implant companies want us to use brand to brand.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always fighting that battle, but we found out we're pretty good at fighting that battle because, one, true abutment has a warranty, they have a faster turnaround time, some of their abutments fit better than the manufacturer. So we don't really have that problem.
Let's talk about the relationships and how you build those relationships locally here. Do you work outside the area? So I know you guys are just, close to Ann Arbor and Detroit. You guys are kind of right in the middle. What are the relationships like? Who handles that nowadays?
Well, it started out myself, and we're kind of a local lab. I'd say 80% of our lab is local. We're really involved in this small community. The dental society, study clubs, they all know us. We're really involved in the relationship part. Although we have grown a little bit because we work for the dental school. Now what do you think? We have other doctors, 2 universities.
Even out of state too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boston. Yeah.
So
Okay.
most of our work is local.
Okay.
We're known as a local lab.
And it's your jobs, I guess yours now, to oversee, to build and continue maintaining those relationships. How do you do that?
Well, customer service. You know, we have a new customer service rep in the lab that we're training. So we had outside sales reps before, prior to COVID, which we don't have any longer. So we're trying to slowly get back into that. And like Scott was saying, we do a lot of the CE courses, a lot of events, training, and education courses for doctors and their staff. The more we do of that, the more, brings business our way too.
Yeah, you bring them in-house and you handle it here.
Yeah. So we're just kind of getting back into that now.
Sure.
Yeah.
With the evolution of digital that's come about, there's always a culture, a demographic that is so attracted to technology and digital, they want to get into it. And the dental labs have exploded over the last 10 years because things have gone more digital, and it's attracted a younger demographic starting labs. What advice would you give these young, technology-driven entrepreneurs getting into an industry like this?
Well, learning the technology is one thing, but you still have to know anatomy. You have to know dental materials. You have to know tooth form, occlusion, all that kind of stuff. So there's always that balance between being a computer geek, but also being, the anatomy and the technical part.
It's going to be interesting to see how many of these labs continue in the next 10 years as this evolution, this digital age continues in the industry. You come to the office a couple times a week now.
Yep.
What do you do with yourself these days?
On my free time?
Yeah.
Grandkids.
Okay.
I'm in 4 or 5 dental study clubs. I love that part. I'm involved in our little local planning commission in the little town I live in. Small, I wouldn't say it a farm, but 16 acres that I take care of.
Wow.
So it's, I have no problem keeping busy, and I love coming to work to dabble a little bit. I think I still bring a little value.
Of course.
I go to the dental school a little bit, and I train people here.
So you're still a lecturer or educator. You're still involved on that side.
Yep, on a part-time basis. And I try to teach people here. And there's still, believe it or not, some doctors that want to talk to me. Some of it's social, of course.
Absolutely.
Some of it's social.
Sure.
Yeah, I get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And it's all about life-work balance and how I get the life part. So
There you go.
yeah.
Oh, you went right. I'll take it because it looks like an ice cream cone. Screw there. We're gonna do a group photo. All right, on 3, guys.
Well, Scott, Karen, a couple of things have changed over the years. The office has changed a little bit, the industry has changed a little bit, but the customer service that you created, you've continued, hasn't changed at all. Thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thanks, it was fun. Appreciate you coming by.
Karen, thank you so much.
It was fun.
You're here 3 days a week?
Yeah.
Come once a week. She's doing just fine.
She's doing good.
Just fine.
We gotta go back to work.
Oh, that's them telling me to get out of here. Bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Well, there you go. There you have it from Michigan. We'll see you next time.
Hello, my name is Casey Ward. I am the office manager here at Ward Dental Lab. I wear a few hats here at the lab. We have a team of 10 gals that work up in the front office, and we do disinfection of all the incoming cases, which can be upwards of 200 per day. We enter the cases into the system, we schedule them with the customer, And then on the back end, when the cases are completed, we invoice them and ship them out to be delivered to the customer. I also manage the accounting roles and partner with our corporate office, which is Microdental out of Livermore, California. And I also have a heavy part in communicating with the accounts as far as any customer service issues they may be having, delivery issues, quality control, and I also like to talk to them about other products that we offer. So Scott Ward is my uncle. My dad and Scott are brothers. And so I grew up in this business actually. He gave me a part-time job. I went to university and got a finance degree, and when my husband and I moved back here 8 years ago, he asked me to come back to the lab and run the office. So kind of came full circle in that way. So Ward Dental Lab runs like a family-owned business, as we were for many, many years. As many people know, and some don't, that we are part of the Microdental network of laboratories. But the way we run our lab is like a family-owned business, and the fact that our customer service is actually what separates us from other labs in our area. I pride myself on that because our team up front, we are the first point of communication for all customers, and we like to provide that first touch point with the customer to give them a positive experience that hopefully leads them all the way through their case. Also, as you can see, we are surrounded by woods and ponds, and you wouldn't believe it, but outside our windows we have deer that come up to the window, bunnies. It's really quite nice, and it really gives a positive environment for our employees. We do also promote a good work-life balance here. We want our employees to be happy because we know that'll shine through to the customer if they're happy here in their work environment.